At the beginning of Freemasonry, your path is the path of Hiram Abif, the Gran Master Mason who constructed the temple, helped constructing the temple. So he's the master builder. But then he dies and he gets resurrected, and that is actually because his figure is the figure of Jesus Christ. That is revealed when you get to the 32th degree of the Scottish Rite, or the ancient accepted Scottish Rite. Then when you reach the highest degrees, it's revealed to you that Jesus was the high priest of Osiris.
What degree level is that revealed at?
That is revealed in the Memphis and Mizraim.
In Memphis and Mizraim. At which level? At the bottom level?
No, when you enter the Memphis and Mizraim, you slowly get into that direction, and you get extracted into that in that truth, in the hidden truths of pharaonic magic and the relationship with Jesus.
Yeah. And how does the Gnostic Catholic Church fit into the Memphis Mizraim?
Because the Gnostic Catholic Church is born out of the Martinists and out of the Memphis and Mizraim setup, which also helped restructuring the Martinist order, because the Martinist order was restructured by Papus within the Memphis and Mizraim. Mm-hmm. And in all of this also is important the figure of the Knights Beneficiaire of the Holy City, Cavalier Beneficent of the is a particular degree.
Is the Pope the secret head of the Gnostic Catholic Church as well?
And also the elected of Cohen, obviously. Elected of Cohen, which are the core of the Martinists, the hidden order within the order.
Okay. And would they were they part of Monte Carlo?
Sure, but every high-level Illuminati organization, including all the factions are represented in Monte Carlo of the Rosicrucian tradition. And there is what we have at the moment is a problem with Adam Weishaupt's Illuminism and how that is influencing contemporary occultism.
And what about the papal orders? Okay, so the Knights of Malta, Constantinian order, would they have representatives in the past at Monte Carlo?
Yes, sure.
They did, and the Jesuits. Sure,
I mean there was even Marcinkus in the Monte Carlo Lodge. So
was he with the Jesuit order? I mean, I know Archbishop Marcinkus was head of the Vatican Bank, etc. But I didn't know what
he was working for. He was working for the Jesuits. He was
right. Jesuit agent, coadjutor. Can you mention a bit more about the Osiris thing, about the importance of that within the Memphis Mizraim?
But also because of Marcinkus, we will have to investigate further, because a lot of truths have not been said. So there is a lot of truths that have to be revealed in due time to the people regarding the whole affair of the Vatican Bank scandal and the P2 that have not been revealed. And that is not possible until we fix our internal situation better.
Okay. Sure.
Because my intention really, Troy, at this moment of time, is to go there in Monte Carlo at the end of June to restructure a bit how things should be done, also for the benefit of mankind, of the people out there, the people who don't have any contact with such powerful organizations like you, who are researchers, who want to know a bit more about what's happening in the high level of the pyramid. And for that reason, I want to try to convince more and more people from the Monte Carlo Lodge and also in Nice from the Priories of Sion and so on to come out publicly so we can finally distinguish the false realities and the conspiracies from the reality and from what is really happening. And I think that it would be a great achievement if I convince the Monte Carlo Lodge to bring in some telecameras, some cameras, so we can finally have an interview face-to-face with Ezio Giunchiglia, with Giampiero Giudicelli, with people at the high levels of the pyramid, Grand Masters from various Masonic lodges in France, head of the Priories of the Knights Templars, head of the various orders, Memphis and Mizraim, and so on. I would like to be able to do in the future a face-to-face dialogue, which is also witnessed by a telecamera, and that people will finally be able to hear the history of these orders directly from the people who have been involved in them.
Who's running the Priory of Sion?
There is 6 different Priories of Zion.
6?
6. But
is there an overseeing person?
Well, obviously the most senior person is the secretary of Plantard Sinclair, which is Gino Sandri. And immediately after...
Gino Sandri.
Gino Sandri.
S-A-N... Yeah, was it? Sorry, go ahead.
Gino Sandri is overseeing probably the most important group, but also together with Giampier Giudicelli.
Yeah, okay.
Giampier Giudicelli is regarded as one of the most important and key members of the Priory because he knows the history of the Priory also in the most correct way, because it's true that the Priory was created in, if we want, in 1954 by Plantard Sinclair. But it is also true that there was a tradition that goes back hundreds of years of angelic communication known only to people at the highest level of the aristocracy and their secret societies. So Priory of Zion is always existed, even if in different ways.
Okay, but it wasn't called the Priory of Sion before the 1950s?
No, it was obviously it had to do with the tradition of, for example, also of the Martinists, of the Memphis and Mizraim, of a whole tradition of Rosicrucian tradition of the aristocracy that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years.
What was it called prior to it being called the Priory of Sion, if you excuse the pun?
No, we will not disclose how it was specific called. I mean, there is various traditions of the Rosicrucian tradition that go and manifest themselves within the Priory of Zion. And I think it's very important for you to read the book of Giampier Giudicelli, La Rose Rouge and La Croix d'Or, pour La Rose Rouge et La Croix d'Or, which is this new book of Giampier Giudicelli de Crissac-Bachelerie, because it has a very detailed history of the internal affairs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So people can understand
what's the true agenda?
Because otherwise they will think that Priory of Zion is simply a modern order made up for terrestrial interest by some person who wanted to... that's not the case.
What's its true purpose?
Sorry?
What's its true purpose then, the Priory of Sion?
The true purpose is connected to the aristocratic bloodlines in Europe.
Yeah, but specifically?
It works within the alchemical work, and the work that is done within the Priory of Zion is of a very important nature concerning also the second coming of Christ.
Okay. Is it, I mean, the whole sort of holy blood, holy grail thing, the Bajent, Lincoln and Lee book, I think the authors were, how accurate was their information about it?
You see, you should study more about the superior inconnu, about the unknown superiors, if you want to know really who is behind the Priory of Zion and behind Plantard. It's something.
What did you call them? The superior what? The superior.
Superior inconnu, unknown superiors.
Inconnu.
Inconnu.
How do you spell that?
Well, if you want to spell it in French, superior inconnu is spelled S-U-P-E with a little thing on top, yeah. R-I-E-U-R, and then I-N-C-O-N-N-U.
Right, and that means there's unknown superiors.
Yeah, unknown superior.
And are they answering to the Jesuits themselves? Do they still exist, these unknown superior group?
Yeah, they still exist, and as I said, they have been in contact with the Jesuits, but now there is an internal conflict. I mean, this internal conflict that has happened with me, you shouldn't underestimate it, Troy. I mean, Thomas Michel and the whole Fethullah Gulen movement and what they have done to me is something that is going to be discussed at the highest level of this pyramid. because we have some very serious issues at stake.
Did Thomas Michel actually have a car crash and end up in a coma? Because I remember...